Welcome back to Weekend Movie Bros, where I am one half of Weekend Movie Bro, and this is my newscasting voice, I guess, instead of my excitement voice. I am Jacob. He is the idiot, and today we're
Hi.
talking D23. D23 happened this past weekend, and we have several categories to go over. If you're looking for amusement parks, well, go fuck yourself because we're covering them.
However, I heard the amusement park segment today was a lot of fun.
Oh my god, it was so cool. I don't know why we're not covering them. Honestly, go fuck us.
Did you see the villains thing with him talking to the
It was
magic
like
mirror?
fucking,
It was
yeah,
so cool.
it was like super cool. Like they did a great job. I don't know why we're not covering it. I just don't feel like it. Honestly, that's what it comes down to. We have enough to talk about.
It's not here. It's not here to discuss. But during the D23 stuff for film and television, they announced they are doing The Greatest Showman on Broadway. Frozen Broadway is coming to Disney Plus in 2025, and Hercules is getting a Broadway stage musical. Which I'm like, it took them how long to get to Hercules? I think Hercules on Broadway will be so good.
Also, anybody who
They
is
were
paying
there as well.
attention to Descendants/Zombies, anybody who's been wanting a crossover for that franchise, you will also have to be going to Broadway for that as well. Actually, I think it's a tour. I think they're going on tour, so maybe it'll come to your state. Who knows?
Isn't it weird that they're not doing a movie for that, but they're making it a tour?
Well, there is no way in hell I would want a movie with a crossover. So
After
I will take a
watching Rise
tour.
of Red.
Which is definitely not my favorite movie of the year.
We'll talk about that and what we've been watching.
At the very end.
Also, if you're new here and you're thinking, I thought this channel was just about movie commentaries. Well, you're not wrong. But way back when, we did podcasts and we took a hiatus for reasons. But D23 I thought was just absolutely tremendous. And Jacob came up with the idea to come together and talk about the panels and stuff because they really came to play this year. I have not been this excited for Disney properties in such a long time. Like, I'm actively excited to see these movies coming out next year. -2, but we'll get to them when we get to them. But
so our last podcast came out on April 4th.
I think it was because we were close to our anniversary that we did that, I think. If I'm not mistaken.
That was season 6, episode 1. Where's episode 2 through 12? Who knows? Not here. Sorry.
So I watched D23 last Friday with John Campia. That was who I watched the live reactions to. Did you watch it with anybody, or were you just kind of getting the feed as it was coming through?
I was just getting the feed as it was coming through. Friday, what was I? There was something going on. I couldn't I don't remember what was I doing Friday. I can't remember. Something was going on. I was doing something. I just couldn't tell you what it is.
Borderlands?
No, I saw Borderlands Friday morning. I don't know what I was doing in the evening. I was doing something where
Didn't you see what ends with us with Mom? Or was that yesterday?
No. Zachary is right. I saw It Ends With Us. I saw Borderlands on Thursday.
Yeah.
Or no, I saw it Friday morning. I saw It Ends With Us Friday evening, and then Cuckoo Saturday evening. Okay. He's probably up to speed. That being said, so I was just going through Twitter headlines. I mean, honestly, going back through, making sure I catched everything.
Did you go back and watch any of the videos from the presentation? Like anybody's things they put up?
I started to watch a few of them, and then I was like, we're going to talk about them. I want my own opinions on everything, that type of thing. And it does put us at a bit of hindrance because I don't know exactly what all had photos we can pull up to talk about. But Zachary, I think does have where I need to go Googling something real fast, so I can Google something real fast. So that's
now I will let everybody know here because Jacob, again, because Jacob, like Jacob said, I know where most of these things are going to be coming, like pictures and stuff wise. We will not be talking about in depth on Daredevil and or anything from Captain America: Brave New World because unfortunately the things that were shown exclusively to D23 did get leaked. We can talk about it, but we can't show it.
I will not be showing anything from Daredevil from the teaser or anything like that, but I will be showing Red Hulk. We will be talking about Red Hulk in full today. But every other big creator has shown Red Hulk. I feel perfectly fine with showing what his face looks like.
But nothing from Daredevil.
Anything that popped up in a trailer, a teaser, Yelena, anything at all, I do not feel comfortable with showing. Also, that being said, if Zachary wants to talk about a trailer or anything that dropped throughout any of these panels, I will be taking a step away as my live reactions will be coming to that to you guys very shortly within the next day or so. because I have not watched anything for them, and so Zachary can talk about them in full. I can talk about it from a different standpoint of not having to experience them.
We don't have to. We
If
can
you
really
want
just talk
to.
about what they talked about, the panels and stuff.
Because I have not seen them.
The only trailer I have not watched is Agatha. Everything else got forced down my throat the day after. So it was like I could nowhere look and not see things from these. So I just was too curious.
Ironically, Daredevil was the one that kept popping up on my Twitter feed. I was like
I had to
watching
go-
it, and I was like, go. Scroll.
I think the fact that it leaked means we're probably going to get it sooner rather than later, because they probably want this. They probably want that official one out now rather than waiting.
I mean, I think the big thing here is the fact that we have a release date.
Is it like March what?
It's March. And I know why they didn't release it. I feel like you shouldn't have came to play. I get it that you don't want to promote 2 Disney Plus shows back to back. They're not coming out back to back. There's quite a few months in between. You want Agatha to be the big thing. Then just bring Agatha, leave Daredevil alone, have it have its moment later on. I understand you don't have a big panel they can't go to. I'm a bit mixed on it entirely on the things that they decided to keep, because this is a fan event, which means that they knew it was going to leak almost everything in there. Doesn't matter if you're not allowed to have your phones or not. Everybody has 6 phones nowadays. One specifically for recording shit at places you're not allowed to record shit. I mean, you know what I mean?
AKA Comic-Con, and that, not leaking a Fantastic Four first step stuff we don't talk about, because
speaking of Fantastic Four, we will be talking about it today. With that being said, let's start with the Marvel panel. I know we're not going directly in order. I can't remember. I think Disney live action came first, or they circled around. They did some weird stuff.
Animation, Pixar animation, and Disney live action were all interwoven, and then Star Wars and Marvel got their own time to shine.
So we're going to be doing it with Marvel and Star Wars, and then Disney live action and Pixar will probably be interwoven just like they originally were in the original presentation, depending on how Zachary's notes are on his phone, as I don't have it, and so I have no idea what he's thinking. So we will find out as we go along. I, however, do have everything that came from Marvel and Star Wars to be able to pull up, so we can talk about those without any issues and being on the same page.
Do you want to do Star Wars first because it was smaller than Marvel? Marvel had more things to discuss. Star Wars had 3.
Perfectly fine with me. Give me 1 second. Got to transfer over. So Star Wars. First things first, the first big thing that came out of it, outside of all the stuff that they're doing for the amusement parks, where they were quite a few different things announced for the amusement parks, pretty cool there, was the fact that we did get the first official trailer for Skeleton Crew that's going to be premiering on December 3rd. Once again, I have not seen this. I have no idea. I saw some images. I thought it looked cute, but that's about where I stand. It looked cute.
When it comes to this looks so promising. It is what you expected it would kind of feel like. It's Goonies meets Star Wars, and I say that with a compliment in every sense of the word. I love John Watts as a visionary and filmographer. I think he has not disturbed me wrong in anything. His movie Wolves looks so good. I'm so excited for that when it comes out. And again, he directed one of the best trilogies in the MCU. And so I have most faith of him coming in for Star Wars. Using Jude Law, I think, is a really good move as well. And again, this feels more like a traditional Star Wars. If you get what I'm saying, like when you look at the poster and the images, it feels like original trilogy stuff again, which is nice. It's a nice refresh after all the crazy batshit nonsense we just went through with the Acolyte. It's nice to get back to kind of more comfort food when it comes to Star Wars. No big bold moves, just nice comfort food. And I think that's a good direction for Star Wars to go.
The big question, obviously, outside of everything Zachary's talking about, will it make people fall back in love with Star Wars? Star Wars right now, I don't really know. I personally, and I'm going to be honest with you, I don't think there is something that can make people fall back in love with Star Wars.
Mandalorian and Grogu. No, Mandalorian and Grogu can easily do it, I think.
We'll talk about Mandalorian and Grogu in a second. Some other things, by the way, if you do play Fortnite, they are being added. So there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Grogu has like a little monster bot that he's driving. I thought it was weird, but everybody gotta do their own thing. Why can't you just be a little Grogu? I don't know. But either way,
hitbox. Jacob hitbox.
I get it, but like you could jump. I don't know. I don't know. Okay. But with South Korea, I've been interested in it. Obviously, for John Watts, I've liked several of his movies. I don't think every one of his movies, Spider-Man: Homecoming, are great, but I do think several of them are okay. Um, However, I do think Jude Law is a bit overplayed now, with especially in franchise genres. I think I would have probably preferred somebody else to kind of reiterate. When I look at this, I think the Marvels, I think several other franchises that are equating to it, and I'm just gonna keep thinking the entire time I watch it. Oh my god, it's Jude Law in space. Oh wait, I've seen that, and it was okay. So I feel like that's probably where I'm gonna stand. My biggest question coming out of this, because Skeleton Crew was made for families, that was the intention behind this. Will it bring families back to Star Wars, where families don't really feel they can let their kids watch Star Wars at this very moment in time? Mandalorian went down a darker path. The Acolyte obviously was a much more mature show. And so bringing in a non-mature show right afterwards, is this the best play? I guess we'll find out in December. I have not seen the trailer yet, so I'm going to hold my opinions outside of the fact I don't love the fact Jude Law's here. I'm going to hold it off until my reaction does come out for it, just because I need to see it first.
So after that, it went into Mando and Grogu. Now, I want to talk about something here specifically, and I wanted to get Jacob's opinion on it. During the Star Wars panel, we had 4 people come out to talk. We had John Watts came out and talked about Skeleton Crew. Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni both came out and talked about Mandalorian and Grogu. And then Diego Luna came out and talked about Andor. If you realize, that's 4 people. There's a 5th one here that did not show up for anything. Not to present anybody, not to announce anything new, nothing. Kathleen Kennedy did not show up for anything. This is Disney's big thing for the year. This is where everybody shows up. The chairman of Pixar showed up for the Pixar segments. Iger was there for all the live action stuff. Kevin Feige was there for Marvel. Kathleen Kennedy wasn't there. And you want to know why? Because they're secretly doing the whole thing. And I believe Filoni is now taking over creative control of Lucasfilm while Jon Favreau is heading the filming part of Lucasfilm. That's what I think is happening.
I'm not 100% sure.
It's too much of a coincidence.
There could be a lot of different reasons why Kathleen Kennedy wasn't there. One, she maybe is out the door. 2, which is possible for sure. 2, maybe something came up and she couldn't come. Why they wouldn't have announced that, I do not know, but maybe it's extremely private and she didn't want it to be announced. And she or us fans speculate over the internet, which we surely are, i.e., hi.
She lost more money on Indiana Jones and she couldn't make it there.
Or 3, the Acolyte really wasn't the best call and she knows it and she'd rather other people be happy for her instead.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the 3rd one's probably the best answer in the book here. Also, what? We're going to be excited when she comes out and says, look at the Skeleton Crew. No, we're all going to look at each other and be like, oh, God, what does that mean? You know, but if we have John Watts come out and introduce it, we feel a bit more comfortable. We have Dave Filoni come out and introduce Mandalorian and Grogu. We feel a lot more comfortable. We have Diego Luna come out and introduce Andor. We're all like, sold, sign me up. Where do I, where does... Disney Plus take more money out of my bank account?
You have no real reason to be excited for Andor. You still haven't watched the show.
I'm just saying in general for people, not me in particular. And no, I will not watch it.
You're missing out.
I hate politics.
Anyway, so from Skeleton Crew, then Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni came out and they talked about the Mandalorian Grogu, which, ladies and gentlemen, hold on to your butts. We have an official release month for a Star Wars film. Let me repeat that. We now have an official date and year for a Star Wars movie. When's the last time anybody could say that? December of 2019. That's when.
Which is a bit of a minute ago, if you did not know.
A bit?
Just a minute ago.
This comes out in 2026. That
just
means
3 more years. It could have been 10 years. I mean,
can we put that in perspective for a second? There has now been a span between Episode 9, Mandalorian Grogu is almost the same length from Avatar 1 to Avatar 2. Avatar 3 will be out before then.
The difference here, which we'll talk about Avatar, the difference here is I am a bit nervous for the brand. outside of the fact, it's like a Star Wars movie in theaters, which we're obviously all going to see at least once. You know what I mean? We're all just going to be there at least once. If we want to be there or not, we're still going to be there.
Yeah.
That's besides the point.
It's the Disney Plus part of it.
It's the Disney part plus. Every other Star Wars content, at least Marvel's released movies in theaters. They kept that train running. They're like, do you want to see a Marvel movie? Well, you can in theaters, or you can wait 45 days and then maybe watch it at home. We don't know. It depends on how well it's doing. Marvel's 30. Deadpool and Wolverine?
December.
6 months. You never really know. Okay, whereas Star Wars, you want to watch everything at home for the price of your couch? Sure. Here you go. Oh, you see these 2 characters that you loved at home on your couch? Now we're going to ask you to pay $18 to go see it in IMAX. That's 2 see the price. How about $10 in a regular theater? But don't worry, it's not going to be the same exact experience. And most people are going to be on their phones or eating really obnoxiously loud next to you because what the fuck is up with that, people? Jesus. Sorry. Had an experience. Don't want to talk about it.
Can it be stated again that since Rise of Skywalker came out, we've had Mandalorian seasons 1 through 3, we've had Obi-Wan Kenobi, we've had The Acolyte, Book of Boba Fett, Andor season 2 comes out next year, The Skeleton Crew, Ahsoka, all in that time. All of Star Wars.
My question to you, Zach,
for 5 years for kids to adults has been on television, not in a theater.
My question to you, and this is a very important question.
Okay.
If a studio exec came to you and said, hey, we're seeing there's a problem here. That problem is there's too much Star Wars content on Disney Plus, and by the time we release something, for theaters, no one's going to want to go because, well, they're just like, I can watch it at home on Disney Plus. Where the fuck is it? You know what I mean? So, which project out of all those projects that you just mentioned would you have made into a movie instead? They said, this is your slate. We have to change one of these Disney Plus shows into a movie.
I'd go back to the drawing board.
Nope. You have to pick one of the ones. No. We are not looking for a
Your safe bet's Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Okay. That's your guess.
Nothing else.
Is it wrong do anything. I do believe Obi-Wan Kenobi would have probably been a better movie.
Oh no, it would have been a better film. And I decently like the show. But no, a movie would have been significantly better. But of all of them, the safest bets would be Obi-Wan and the one they chose. Ahsoka would have done for sure. Borderlands numbers this weekend. No one cares about Ahsoka except for hardcore Star Wars fans. Skeleton Crew is a new IP. You're scaring Star Wars fans into theaters to go watch something brand new.
You know what? I have an oddball. Can I throw my oddball out there?
Andor, I think, could have been semi-successful because of the success of Rogue One.
No. I think Andor's fine where it's at. Keep its political intrigue on the small screen. That's fine. My thing being here, what about The Acolyte? Now, hear me out. The episodes were kind of shit because of how they were broken up, right? We talked about this. I think I enjoyed The Acolyte better if I watched it as a binge. I'm going to be honest with you. So they turned it into a 2-hour movie instead, a more concise writing team, a better concise writing team, less walking, more action. I could be sold.
Here is my rebuttal for that.
Also, starting a whole new timeline. Sorry. Give me a second. I'm not done yet. I'm cooking. Also, starting a whole new timeline in theaters, making it feel like it's necessary because it's a part of Star Wars we've never seen before. It has a pretty good sell to it. It's very diverse, which means that it should contribute to a lot of different box office and should do pretty well overseas. You know what I mean? I feel like, you know what? That's what I would go with. Probably Obi-Wan Kenobi as well. But those are the 2 I would pick.
Okay. Here's where that could still fall.
Oh, for sure.
You are dealing again with a new part of the universe that, unless you've read books, comic books, or graphic novels, you have no idea what the High Republic is about.
Exactly. That's kind of the point. It's a great selling point.
I don't think it is.
That's okay.
Star Wars in the theater has always been like a food made by your mom. You already know what you're going to get. it's safe, and you're never not happy about it. Star Wars went another direction in both Solo and Rogue One. Rogue One still felt like your mom's food. You were still happy because it was content within the original trilogy. Solo was like your mom went from making a really good lasagna to a shit pork sandwich. You went, that's not what you do. And also, you changed you changed the face of your meal into a different person while still trying to say it's the same thing when it's not. You know what I mean?
I think Zachary has so much stuff to unpack in his therapy session. That's all I'm getting out of this conversation right now.
When you look at Solo, they did a Han Solo movie without Han Solo.
Yeah, which I didn't think
and
Solo
it did
was
not,
bad.
And it did not,
it did not, it was bad.
But it did not do well financially for them.
Yeah, we were boycotting Disney.
Rogue One was set between 4 and 5.
So bad.
It residual with people, gave people Darth Vader and epic space battles. What is that? Save Star Wars, $1 billion.
Here's the thing.
Episode 7, original trilogy, original cast, setting up new stuff, $1 billion. Every single Star Wars film made $1 billion except one. And that was the one that went the other direction.
Also, no. But also, you can't just say that, because you have to understand the point in time we were at in a Star Wars climate at the point of Solo coming out. The people had made a choice. The people said The Last Jedi was god awful. That was what the people said. I said it had a cool sequence.
$1 billion worth of people said Last Jedi.
It does not matter. We all agree.
From the money man of this channel.
No, I'm getting there. Hold on. Give me a second. We all agreed as a consecutive group of people, we fucked up. We should maybe have not had made $1 billion for The Last Jedi. We all kind of consecutively agreed about it. We said they're not going to change. It's going to continue down the same pathway. And guess what? What they did, they continued down the same pathway, even though the outcry was so massive from that movie. Doesn't matter if it made $1 billion or not. You should still hear the people who are telling you, if you're Kathleen Kennedy, our voices don't matter. So, who cares? So they released Solo. And what was the number one thing that most people talked about when Solo was coming out? Oh, that looks like it's going to be an okay Star Wars film. I'm not going to go see it, though, because I'm boycotting Star Wars right now. And the only way to teach these people how to change things, which they did, they put everything on Disney+. Keep that in mind.
No. Before that, they put out Rise of Skywalker, and it made $1 billion at the box office.
Yes, it did, and it's all its offense, it did make $1 billion, but also but also we all boycotted. I mean, I didn't. I saw it for $4, but most people boycotted Solo.
Here's the thing: you can say that all you want. Boycotting aside, it still made $1 billion. You took your safe bets were always $1 billion. The risk you took only made 800. And so, in Disney's point of view, every single Star Wars movie made $1 billion except one. You do that to the Acolyte, see, that makes $500 million. They would never do an original idea again, ever. They would be safe and want to stick with what works, which is why Mandalorian season 2 is more praised over season 1, because it had memory milk. Every time an episode showed up, someone from the past showed up. What was Ahsoka's best moments? Episode 5, Anakin Skywalker returned. Captain Rex was there. Ezra Bridger shows back up.
You know what? Here's the thing. Zachary is not making bad points. He just was really late to get to his catch. That's where I come from. Because I don't think my points were bad. His points just happen to be a tad bit better. Because logically, if you think about it, I still would have put The Acolyte into theaters. I still think it could have done.
Give it the shot for sure. But it's not going to do what Disney wants it to do.
Oh, it's definitely. I never once even in my brain when I was pitching The Acolyte. I don't even think Obi-Wan would make $1 billion. I think Obi-Wan would make 500 million. And I would say Acolyte would probably be like 300, 400 million, which is really bad for a Star Wars. Let's not get that wrong. But also, in today's climate, not that bad overall.
But here's where I think Obi-Wan Kenobi would be $1 billion picture, because you put in Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen together again. You get the prequel fans back in theaters with the sequel fans.
I guess so.
And you give them the fight that people have been waiting almost 40 years to see. That's $1 billion.
Deadpool, if they did it right. I mean,
if they did it right. They did it right.
Think so.
But look at Deadpool and Wolverine. 15 years for that team up. Wade and Logan finally together. $1 billion film.
Very true. If they brought... Okay, here's my next thing. And the same thing goes to The Acolyte for my next thing. They had to bring the same team. The
Yeah.
same, they picked one of the directors that they liked, because obviously only one person can direct. They can't bring, and I think it's like 4 for Obi-Wan, but the same writer. They picked the head writer, whoever the head creator of that show was. That's who wrote the movie. Okay, so you're still getting the same exact story that you received in a 6-episode series or 8 episodes. I can't remember exactly how long Obi-Wan was. I think it was 6. But you're just continuing dense down into 2 hours, 2 hours and 12 minutes worth of a film.
Yeah,
I don't know if it would, if we're talking like in that standpoint, make
if it's still Chloe doing Obi-Wan Kenobi, then I completely agree with you. I don't think it would do well like with critics and with fans, but I think financially it'd still be in Mickey's pocket to be like, that did well though because it was safe.
But on the opposite end of it, I do think if we could be like, okay, I picked this project. When we see the script, okay, if this is trash, I don't really like it, hire some new people onto it, but keep the same idea, keep the same premise, type of thing. I think it's probably what they would have probably ended up doing anyways. Either way, we got off on a huge tangent here, not important at all to what was going on in D23. Nothing's getting transferred over. The point here is Mandalorian and Grogu are coming out May 22nd, 2026. And who knows how it will do? I don't know.
Sure. I'm really curious to see if they put something out on Disney Plus to let people know, hey, watch Mandalorian. We're getting ready for that big thing. But then they're also putting Zeb in the movie. I don't know if you know this. Zeb is in the film. So now you're asking fans who do not know about the cartoon to care about a character. But I think Zeb is a strong enough character on his own to where he can probably shift that stage and be fine.
So I have a little bit of a list of what popped up in the scissor reel that they released. Obviously, I can't show you any images and stuff. I know some of the images did come out or whatever, but I can tell you about them though. So in the scissor reel, all new footage including Grogu and Din facing off with snowtroopers, massive Imperial AT-AT walkers in the snow, Zeb, who's actually just talking about, who is from Rebels, who a lot of people thought would show up in Ahsoka. At least in the 5 episodes I watched, was not a part of Ahsoka. In action, and then also clapping off with Grogu traveling with 2 tiny Anzelians. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that creature is, but that's what they said.
What?
ANZELL.
No, I got it.
Okay.
What?
Oh my god! Okay, I do know what they are, and they popped up in Mandalorian before. Yeah. They're the one. Yeah. Okay.
That's exciting.
Yeah. So that's all what was shown in a little.
Rise of Skywalker. If you don't know what we're talking about.
Also, the Mandalorian.
One of the best scenes of Star Wars with this little dude and the other little dude.
That being said, Zachary, I'm going to let you go ahead and talk all you want about Andor Season 2, as I'm sure you have.
There was one more thing with Mandalorian and Grogu.
Oh, sorry.
That was not talked about here. That again, how the Razor Crest is back.
Oh, yeah. That's not in here, but yeah, that is, yeah.
Huh? We all witnessed that ship blow up. Like it's gone.
Well, not anymore.
There's still a crater. Poof. Those Anzelians supposed to be really, 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 really clever because anyway. There are 2 other characters I hope show up in the Mandalorian movie, and that would be his friends from Tatooine, the girl and her droids. I hope they show up in the movie as well because I love when they show up in any of the stuff. It's my favorite time.
Now, the issue here, and they have to make sure it's very clear, you want this movie to feel as cinematic as humanly possible.
Yeah.
So you also want to make sure that any of the characters, who, in my opinion, no offense to those people that Zachary's talking about, who are fun in the television show, I don't really know if it'll feel like a movie experience. I would say, but then again, once again, I just wouldn't.
What do you do? Recast them in the movie and then put them back in the show? That makes no sense.
That'd be so funny. Totally be something Star Wars would do. But no, I just wouldn't.
Something Marvel's doing. What are you talking about?
I wouldn't promote them. I just would put them in the movie as a fun little cameo.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Don't make him like a central figure, but let him randomly go to Tatooine and check in on his friends. Because Grogu and her have a deep connection.
All right, Andor, Zachary.
Oh, Andor. Andor to me is probably the most important thing Star Wars has put out since Rise of Skywalker. It is the one thing amongst fans of Star Wars can all agree is one of the best pieces of Star Wars material since the original trilogy, and no one argues with anybody because it's true. It's truly, truly, truly is. It's one of the best dramas. If the doors Disney Plus were not on this show, I would think it would be on HBO. Like, that's how good this show is.
That is great. Andor's been out for several years now. How about you pitch me season 2, though? You know.
So season 2 is set. We're doing the time dance thing again of like going in between time. It's going across 4 years leading up to the events of Rogue One. Director Krennic is coming back for the show. The Alan Tudyk's coming back as K2SO. It'll be how Cassian and K2SO meet, come together, how they get involved in the rebellion a little bit more. And it's just his story leading up to the events of the beginning of Rogue One. And it's just a well thought out show. The costume designing, the fact that it's shooting on practical sets, it feels like Star Wars did back in the 70s, and to some extent some of the sequel trilogy stuff. Like there are times where practical effects don't look good, and it shows that some CGI is okay, but there are just certain times, we talk about with Deadpool and Wolverine, when you watch things that are shot on practical physical sets, it completely changes your way and look at the show and or movie. One of Marvel's big critiques the past couple of years is that everything's felt very fake because it felt like there wasn't like anything real in front of them. When you watch Andor, you can see buildings that are buildings. You can see the ground. That's the ground. It's not fake. It's real. And that's why Andor works so much as a show. The characters, their motivations, the drama, the intrigue, the stuff that this gets into about what happens about the war. This makes the Empire terrifying as a cult in space. They deal with infantry camps and these people that they're putting through because Emperor Palpatine won. Like, he got what he wanted. It's just I love this show so much. Diego Luna got his due, and I've now am looking forward to more content than he does. I could not give Andor more praise. It's the best thing Star Wars has put out.
Really? You know what? I would never have known. I would never have known.
And season 2 it looks incredible.
Next time, I'm just going to say it's coming back and we're just going to move on. I know now. Didn't know before. I understand. It was my issue, not yours. I promise. I just had one more question before we jump off of Star Wars, because we did reach the end of that. It was a lot, but we did reach the end. How did you feel about Rebuild the Galaxy?
Stupidest thing in the world. Move on.
Understood. Okay, just curious.
Darth Jar Jar is the only thing I find interesting, and I love it. I love it for Star Wars fans. We've been talking about this for years. Seeing Jar Jar in a Darth suit is really funny with a lightsaber.
Yeah, why does he have a lightsaber? I don't want to know. I asked too many questions. We're moving on. We're gonna move.
It was the biggest joke leading in Episode 7. Darth Jar Jar was the one that secretly survived the prequel trilogy, and that he was going to be the main villain of 7. That was the joke going into 7 the entire time.
I've decided I don't want to know what this is about anymore.
It's so good.
Let's move on to Marvel, guys. Let's get out of Star Wars completely. Overall, Zachary, however, while I switch over, how did you feel about the Star Wars stuff being presented?
I was happy with what Star Wars brought, because they didn't announce 7 other things that will never get made. They focused on the 3 things they know are currently done, made, being shot, and ready to go. This is the direction Star Wars needs to go, and Marvel's doing the same thing. They are just focusing on the things of the now, because if they announce anything for the later, things can happen. They lose directors. It's just not working. Blade, anybody? Like, you announce this too soon, and then everybody gets excited about it, and now it's no longer here. Rogue Squadron, all of these things that were potentially supposed to happen are no longer happening. So I think Star Wars made the right move in just talking about skeletons through Andor and Mandalorian Grogu. Safe bets, all guaranteed stuff we talked about. Did not announce anything else.
So overall,
yeah, it's been their better time on D23 since probably the announcement of Obi-Wan Kenobi.
All right.
In my opinion.
Moving on to Marvel. Marvel came in, talked about a few different things. It started out with Deadpool and Wolverine. Ryan Reynolds saying thank you to the fans. That's right before they made $1 billion. It's officially $1 billion movie. Zachary can really praise to that because he definitely gave his money to make it $1 billion movie. That's all
I
I'll
wanted
say.
to make sure that this one did it.
And he made sure this was no Doctor Strange 2, which is what most people were predicting it to be. So good for Zachary for being the single-handed person to get it over the $1 billion line.
You're welcome.
Yeah, he should be thanking you personally. Then
Hugh Jackman finally in a $1 billion movie makes me so happy.
Yes, and there's also another thing we can briefly talk about here. One day, I think we're going to save our Deadpool and Wolverine coverage for when it actually comes out, and we can do like a full breakdown and stuff.
Breakdown commentary. It's all going to happen. Don't worry.
We were originally going to do one, but time is such a weird little fucker. You know what I mean? So now it's just there's no point. It's $1 billion movie. People have seen it. What can we add? It was funny.
It's
anyway. Interestingly enough, though, it is very important. Mostly when we talk about $1 billion movies, we only talk about the fact that the movie made it to $1 billion, like we did earlier with Inside Out 2. And yet, this one's very in particular because this is the first X movie to ever make it to $1 billion movie. This is the first Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman and Sean Levy movie to make it to $1 billion. So it's a win overall for everybody involved, which is absolutely phenomenal.
It's the biggest win ever. It's so
That being said, I do not want Zachary on another long tangent of just praising something. Good for them. Good for you. Good for the movie. We're going to move on. Understandably so. This is not about Deadpool and Wolverine. Great movie. Highly recommend. I'm sure you've seen it. If you're watching this video, I'm sure you have seen it. No offense. Next, let's talk about Captain America Brave New World. Once again, I really can't tell you so much about the stuff that was teased. It was mostly a conversation between Harrison Ford and somebody else, and then also the transformation scene that we've seen glimpses of. But I do have an image to share.
We can talk about the thing they were discussing. That's public. That's public knowledge.
Yeah, I just didn't know what it was. So if you know it, go right ahead.
So at Comic-Con, they said it, and then
uranium.
At D23, not uranium.
Okay.
Adamantium.
Cool. Yeah. See, I was close. And it's the creature, right? That's what.
So the Celestial at the end of Eternals, when Cersei makes the Tiamat stone, it's not stone. He made him adamantium, and that's how adamantium, the stuff that's on Logan's claws, becomes. That's why it becomes. It's the claws. It's a great way to start off the proper MCU mutant stuff without deliberately talking about it. I hope that at Captain America we get a character named Stryker. People will flip their shit if they say General Stryker, go get the adamantium. Flip their shit. No one else will know who Stryker is. Flip their shit. That's all I'm saying.
All right. That being said, we also got a first full look. Now, I'm not going to lie to you because these are screen grabs from filming, people filming stuff. I don't have any HD, 4K 20, whatever picture. I also don't have a picture of his full face or anything. I'm going off the one that most people are using currently, which is a lot of chest hair.
I've seen this clip so many times. I love it. He looks so good.
I don't know what a Hulk daddy would be called. A Daldy? I don't know.
He looks
a hottie?
So good.
He'd be a hattie. Is he a gilf? Would he be, because he's more like a grandpa? What would that do to his body? If he transformed, is he gonna break a hip? Break it back? What is it gonna do? I have questions. Why is he red? Did they ever explain? I mean, I know why. I know, but is he red already?
Yeah.
Was that in the movie that I hate so much? Did he become red in the movie I hate so much?
No, he did not become red in The Incredible Hulk.
Okay.
It is talked about.
Oh, I wouldn't know. I truly have only seen that movie once.
Here's my big thing for Captain America: Brave New World. Red Hulk should not be this heavy at the beginning of the ad campaign for this movie. Something else is going to happen in this film that no one is expecting.
I mean, I do know this much. It practically is a Hulk movie without Hulk.
Well, if we go off of Captain America, it's a Hulk movie with a Hulk in it.
Well, no, I know, but without green like Mark Ruffalo, he's not going to make an appearance.
The
At least
fact
at
that
the moment in time that I know of, he has not made an appearance. They
the
actually
fact
were
that
going more towards She-Hulk if one of them is going to show up. By the way, sorry.
no, you're fine. The fact that Mark Ruffalo hasn't accidentally revealed that he's in this movie kind of boggles my mind. So maybe he actually isn't in the film, and Tatiana Maslany is just keeping her mouth shut.
Well, I also wasn't sure. A lot of people, I'm not going to say what the original idea was. I've known about what the original idea was for Captain America for a long time now. Um, they've changed it several times since then. Obviously, we're dealing with, I can't say the word, but Zachary just said it.
Adamantium.
Thank you. We're dealing with that, and originally this also was going to be tied into Black Panther. I still don't know if that's a thing. It could be. It still could be. They might have moved that storyline to Thunderbolts, though. I'm not 100% sure. But because they didn't go through with what they originally were supposed to go through with She-Hulk, since they pulled the plug on that, literally, we watched it happen live in that show. Questionable choices. Oh my God, Zachary, did you? Sorry, this is a weird. We had to hop off this for a second. Welcome back. Did you notice, since you've seen Deadpool and Wolverine like a billion times, that I said I wasn't going to get you on a tangent, but we're about to go on one? Did you see the Kevin bot?
Uh-huh.
Okay, that's all. We don't need to really go into it, but I watched it for the second time like that evening. I'm in the text you being like, oh my God, pay attention. Because I had no idea.
My third time, I about fell out of my chair when I saw him. I was like, oh, that's where you ended up. I think it's the best meta, I think it's the best meta joke ever made. Because you know Kevin Feige had a word to talk about with that.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. Either way, because they changed the ending of She-Hulk, I actually wasn't sure if this was going to happen. I'm not mad though. I think he looks great.
He looks so good.
Overall, 10 out of 10. Yeah. The chest hair. So many questions about the chest hair.
I have gone from being not excited for this movie to being very excited for this movie, because you're going into my favorite solo MCU franchise is Captain America. I love these movies, all three of them, to death. I think they're all three great in their own ways. Obviously, Winter Soldier is one of the best superhero movies ever made. And you're finally giving Sam his due in a movie. And I was nervous about the Hulk stuff being in this film. Like, well, let's take away from him. I don't think it will, because it's still, the story at the core is still about Sam. And I think that's what Captain America has done so well as a franchise, is that even though these massive things are happening around him, it still in some way results back in what's going on with him personally. And so I really hope Captain America 4 keeps that as well. Also, I don't think we see Bucky at all in this movie.
Oh, I also don't believe Bucky will be in this movie. If he is in this movie, it will be some type of end credit.
Yeah. He'll be I think he'll be mentioned, but I don't think he'll be here. Like, they'll probably say, like, where's he at? Oh, he's dealing with some senating stuff currently. Because did you know he's a senator now?
Yeah.
Yeah,
isn't that weird? I think it's weird.
I think the angle is interesting. I wonder where they're going to go with it. Oh, good Lord. I am so interested to hear your thoughts and opinions about this, because
it's coming up real quickly. I'm going to tell you that much. It's coming up real fucking fast.
Because I love it.
So they went through Captain America Brave New World. They brought, Anthony Mackie came out, shared some footage. He went away. Kevin Feige came back and said, hey, we have a little sneak peek for you for a movie called The Fantastic Four First Steps. Still not 100% sold on the title, but that's that's here nor there.
Here.
Which obviously stars the amazing cast, which we've already talked about many of the time on this channel, and are currently busy filming in UK, which is why they couldn't be here at D23. However, everybody was in their normal outfits except for one human. One human decided to come to play, I'm sure on purpose, and we have something to talk about, which, hey, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the twink in the room. Let's talk the interesting wig choice. The outfit we'll get to in a second. That's an interesting wig choice. I don't know if I like it.
I like it.
He looks much better as Johnny Storm than I'm going to give him credit for. I wasn't really expecting to really love him as this character. I mean, I love Joseph Quinn. I think he does a phenomenal job. But I wasn't really sure when the casting came out for Joseph. There are other people in the running that I felt like could maybe have looked the better part or whatever. And I think they're showing that it doesn't really matter. type of thing.
My two choices for this role have always been him and Zac Efron. I would have been happy with either choice. They were always my two choices for this role because I think Zac would have done something very interesting with him if he went his direction. But after seeing what Joseph did in Stranger Things, I have watched a little bit of some of his scenes from Quiet Place. I think he's going to bring such a nice emotional grounding to Johnny that he's never had in the other movies before. And I think him and Kirby are going to have some really good chemistry as brother and sister.
And they look a lot alike.
They do, and that makes it more believable.
Yeah, for sure. The suit itself, obviously, this is an interesting choice. I think it's pretty perfect, actually.
I love it.
But it's an interesting... I'm curious to see what it looks like when it's moving. Also on fire. All important things.
At D23, Fantastic Four had a bigger thing than I was thinking they would have. Giacchino released the main theme for the movie at the Music of Marvel, and I think the theme is just delightful. Giacchino knows how to weave in superhero names and the theme songs, and I think it's the absolute best with Spider-Man, Batman, now Fantastic Four.
I had some issues with the score just because we'll talk about it here really shortly, and that is the fact that they are making more Incredibles movies. And in all fairness, I think Fantastic Four, the biggest competition it has is Incredibles. And they sound much alike.
Because Incredibles got to it first. And I think the difference here is that Disney owns both. And when you look at how The Incredibles works, if it copies The Incredibles to Fantastic Four with that kind of chemistry between this family, I'm not going to complain. Disney's eating itself. It'd be different if it was somebody else trying to do this project.
That is also very true. I just, I always want everything to do well.
I really think this movie's going to do well. I think they're positioning it right now to do something truly great.
I'm a bit nervous for a lot of different reasons. One, I'm going to be honest with you, none of these actors have really been put into a spotlight to really see if they can make a lot of money at the box office. Everybody in this franchise, everybody in this movie has made money at the box office while playing other roles that are not the main leads. So that's interesting, and that's a bit worrisome.
Pedro's big moment is at the end of this year. Gladiator 2, I think will show Disney what they have, because both he's in it and Joseph Quinn is in it.
Yep.
And so while it is Mescal's leading role film, people are going to heavily be looking at both Pedro and Joseph to see whether or not their box office together can bring in money to go into July for Fantastic Four.
And hopefully it's better received than Vanessa Kirby's Napoleon by the same director.
Yes, that's the only one on here who I think is the unknown when it comes to that box office is The Thing.
Evan Moss Bar
love him. But
he's had a few smaller roles in some things that have made money, which is what I'm talking about. Like Vanessa Kirby, sure, was the third lead in Hobbs and Shaw, but was not in the title of Hobbs and Shaw. She's just like, oh my God, it's Vanessa fucking Kirby. What are you doing here? Joseph Quinn was the co-lead in Quiet Place, but if you've seen Quiet Place, he's really not in that movie. It's Lupita Nyong'o's movie, which means it's her win. That makes sense. And Pedro Pascal, outside Gladiator, which we'll talk, which we'll figure out later on this year, how big of a role he has in it, because I don't really think Joseph Quinn's gonna have that huge of a role in the movie. Hasn't really had a star turning. He's been in the business for how many years now, but he hasn't really had a movie that was his own. So it's a bit nerve-wracking. Also, 60s space, it just doesn't sell to people nowadays. So I'm really hoping the superhero angle is what's going to make this movie stand more. Also, Galactus. You know what I mean? Galactus.
AKA not a fart cloud.
Galactus. So I'm gonna say, okay, let's move on. Next up.
Oh, it looks so good. It looks so good.
Next up, we brought out Ryan Coogler to tease Ironheart, which I'm very excited about. I know some people are still iffy.
Footage was shown at D23. It was not talked about, but it was shown there. And we also, I can't really speak on that one. There was not a lot of information.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Talked about it. It was very quiet. I don't think Marvel honestly knows what to do with this show. because they were hoping the reception for that character would have been very strong from Wakanda Forever. It was mixed. Some people really enjoyed Riri, and some people really didn't.
I loved Riri.
And then,
I loved her. I thought she was
I thought she was great. And also, when the original idea for the show was being pitched, it's dramatically changed to where we are now. And now we know the direction of the MCU going into Doctor Doom. This show is kind of important because it needs to bring up how tech and magic will work with the Hood. And so they're trying to find the right spot for it. I think being towards the end of next year, going into 2026, I think would be smarter because you're leaning into Doomsday and not so far away from it.
But I'm curious, genuinely curious when it's going to get released. Obviously, it is in the top slate of Disney Plus shows. We'll see soon. But it does not have a release date currently.
It's done, though.
It is done. It's been done for a while now, to be fair. They're just trying to figure out when to play it out.
Where to put it.
Also, how to play it out. Is it going to be like an Echo where they don't really think it's going to do well, so they're going to drop everything at once? How are people going to feel about that? Because technically, Echo popped up in a Disney Plus show, so that's fine. But Riri did get the movie treatment to begin with, so should that get like a full-fledged like Disney Plus treatment? It's a whole mixed bag, and it's really interesting. And also, we're in such a very interesting place in the world. How would Ironheart overall be respected today? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Very interesting stuff.
I never thought about it, but now with the announcement that RDJ is playing Doom, like now they couldn't do the AI Tony Stark thing if they wanted to for Ironheart because it would. I think it would further confuse people. They can, but it would confuse people.
They still could. I mean, he's coming back to play Iron Man in a ride. So as Iron Man, I mean, it's still possible. I know it's a bit different, but it's still possible. And I still do think, especially because now Robert Downey Jr. is like, yeah, pay me money, I'll come back. I'll come back. I have a feeling we will get AI Tony eventually. It might be through the extent of all of this multiverseness is that we're going to get AI Tony, but who knows? My biggest shock here was the fact that Anthony Ramos was in it.
You didn't know that?
Somehow I totally forgot, and he showed up on stage, and I was like, "What the fuck are you doing here, buddy?" Okay,
yeah, he plays the villain. He plays the Hood.
Yeah. I also realized that, and I was like, "Oh, so you're going to die by the end of this?" Well, at least your Marvel run was short. Then we're gonna just briefly talk about it because they did make some announcements and stuff for it. We have Daredevil Born Again. The biggest thing talking out of this, outside of the teaser that most people have already seen, it did get renewed for a second season. So
they also put out a poster today for Born Again, and it has his nunchucks in front of several different colored masks. So I think this more or less confirms that he will be having multiple suits in this show. I think we'll see the black and red. I think we're going to see the yellow and red again. I think we'll see his hand outfit, and then we'll see the clear all classic red outfit as well. The poster's really cool. It's got like all the helmets on the table with the nunchucks in front of it. It looks really cool. And I love the new logo.
Sorry, I was trying to see. Okay, so I did want to quickly just jump in here and talk about several things the trailer did showcase that have already been talked about. I'm not showing any images or anything like that. There's really cool images of a certain character who I'm going to talk about here that if you want to go look up, you totally can, but I'm not going to show it to you like right now, as we will get taken down immediately. They're getting really aggressive about it, which means you probably should just release a trailer, Disney. It's probably about that time. You should just give it to us. We already know the release date, if that's what you're trying to hide. Either way, John Bertha is obviously back as Frank Castle, which is really exciting. We have Bullseye, who's also back, which we saw on set. Then we also have Tiger and Muse. Tiger being the really interesting one that you maybe should look up because they did a great job, like really bringing that character to life.
White Tiger, and then the villain of this season of Born Again is Muse.
Yes, and Muse also
is
really
terrifying.
Also, we have Vincent D'Onofrio who will be back as well. There's rumors that they're going to be working together throughout most of this first season, and that the season will end on a cliffhanger because they knew going into writing and filming that they were getting a second season already, so they had no worries about it whatsoever.
And if you've seen Echo, Jacob, have you seen Echo?
I have not.
So then you want to mute?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me just. I'm gonna just give me one second. Okay, you're completely quiet, but I'm gonna just.
Okay. So can you hear me? Okay. So at the end of Echo, we see Wilson Fisk on the plane. He is now running for mayor. So I'm wondering how that will tie into the show as well. I like the storylines where Fisk runs for New York. This is where Spider-Man could possibly show up as well if they want to go down that route. So a lot of possibilities with how the ending of Echo goes into this show. There you go.
Oh, you are so loud. Okay, just gonna turn you down my head. Jesus.
Sorry.
No, it's good, but the people hear you. I just don't want to, No offense. But yeah, that was Daredevil. I'm just really excited for the cast to be able to come back. I'm happy for this to be what the show turned into instead of what the show originally was.
AKA just season 4 of Daredevil.
Yeah, which is cool. That's what we kind of wanted, in all
Follow
fairness.
to it.
Yeah. Daredevil in the Marvel universe, while being able to be Daredevil. That's what we wanted. And
Punisher
Echo
looks
must
great.
have done somewhat okay for it to be able to be TVMA still and be able to go down the same route that it was going down originally. So Echo must have done moderately okay to be able to excel into the TVMA. Also, Deadpool and Wolverine really helped with any of those decisions.
Oh, yeah.
And lastly, we have Agatha all along. They did have a full... Yes?
There was one more thing there.
Oh, I have Agatha all along next, but please do let us know.
They mentioned Armor Wars after Ironheart.
Sorry.
Armor Wars is still going strong, I believe. They announced our director, and we don't have a release year yet for it, though, but they said it'll be closer to the release of Ironheart, from what I understand.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be coming out in 2025 is what the last thing is. I don't have a director, though, but that's okay. Most people are thinking 2025 is going to be one of those unreleased date movies that have already been to the public and stuff. Cool. There you go. Then we have Agatha all along to close out the Marvel side of things. They released a whole new trailer, which some people were mixed on if they should have released it at all. I haven't seen it yet, so I don't know how I feel.
Did you hear how they opened that part of the show?
Well, I'm about to mention that. They also opened with one of the new songs. Patti LuPone had announced a long time ago that this is part musical as it is part Marvel show, which I still don't know how I feel about.
Have you heard the song?
I have not. Is it good?
I'm totally fine with it being a Marvel musical.
Understood.
And Catherine Hahn, that woman can sing.
Which I knew that she could sing, but the only issue that I have is that I don't know how well it's going to do. Beforehand, I've been like, oh, I think this is going to do pretty well. Now, I don't know.
Do you know why I think this show is going to do tremendously well? Because they keep using it, and it's the way to use the show. It's a Halloween show. Also, it is a Halloween show with music. What is one of Disney's most popular things in the world? The Nightmare Before Christmas and Hocus Pocus. What are they? Halloween movies set with music inside.
But my question is it like 2 or 3 new songs where they're singing, like it's going to be written into the show? Or are we looking at musical territory where they're singing their feelings to the screen? There's 2 different vibes, you know what I mean?
It's tracks.
Okay.
It's just it's songs they have written for the show.
I guess we'll find out. I'm truly curious about it.
I'm in ways that really excited about this show, in other ways, not really, because I really enjoy WandaVision and I love Catherine Hahn, but I wasn't a Agatha fan, and I don't know where her story is overall going to fit leading into the next Avengers movies now. This makes more sense for the Kang side of this story, not really the Doom side. So unless they mention Latveria in this show, then I'm like, okay, now I see where you're moving, because it would make sense dealing with the magic and the tech. Latveria getting into the witchy stuff would be really interesting.
Based on the trailer, there's 2 moments that I'll
take out of this.
Yeah, Wiccan, who definitely is in this, And then
Is that confirmed? Is it confirmed?
I'm sorry. I will say supposedly in this, but I've seen the cast list. I know who Sherlock is playing. It's besides the point. I'm moving on. You can have your own moment, okay?
He's not Wiccan until he says he's Wiccan.
Whatever. They're not going to announce it till it drops. We both know it to be true. Don't know why. The entire world knows. Everybody's talking about it. It's a big debate online, okay? We all want Kid Connor to be Hulkling. It's a whole thing. Should he be? Probably not. They probably shouldn't just do Heartstopper for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But maybe they should. I'm still on my debation, okay? I'll get back to you. The second thing is that we do see a dead Wanda in the trailer. Or something that looks like it should be a dead Wanda. I should be more clear here.
Oh, you mean on the table?
No, in the ground outside. And it's outside. It's in the middle of the forest.
Again, I haven't seen this trailer, so I don't know.
Not the new trailer. This is the original first trailer, the teaser that they released.
Well, in the beginning of in the beginning of the trailer, they see the body, and then when they take it to the morgue, her name when they get to the morgue, her name pops up on the death tag.
But a lot of people are trying to figure out if it's Wanda or if it's her son. I can't think of his name.
Boner.
No, not Boner. Her son. My word. Where are you at? I don't know. Son? Wanda's, not Wiccan, the other one. Her magic one. I can't think of his name. Oh my god. What are the twins' names? Come on, Zachary.
Isn't Wiccan the magic one?
Yeah, sorry, the speedster one. Whatever. No one really cares about the other one. That's why I can't remember his name. Hold on. Wanda's twins. Willie, no, it's a W. It's a W word. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Wanda's twins. Come on, I need names. Who are the twins? William, I was right. Billy. People are thinking that it also could be Billy, who is dead. And that's part of the mystery of them trying to figure out what happened to Billy and if he's actually dead or not. Because obviously we're dealing with not real things. Neither of these characters are truly real. How are they here? I hope there's a really good-ass explanation how they're still here. Obviously, and also, will Wanda show up? I hope so, but it's kind of how I feel. Okay.
But overall, I think Marvel came to play. We really can't talk about Daredevil because it's out. Everything's out there. So we really can't talk about it because that's the most exciting thing from the panel for Marvel was the Daredevil stuff. And I can't wait for this show. I think March is really nice and poetic because that's when the original running of Daredevil started, was in March of 2015. So I find it really cool doing that. But yeah, Marvel was good. But let's be all real here. We all know who really came to play at this, and boy howdy did they. Disney came to play at D23. Are you shocked? I am. Because they really came to play. So, without further ado, let's get this started with the Pixar animation segment of Disney. The first thing that came out was we have a new trailer and a new premise for Moana 2 out November 22nd, 2024.
27th, that's okay.
27th, sorry. Set 3 years later, Moana and demigod trickster Maui team up once again to face a new threat to Oshina. I'm not going to talk about this because Jacob hasn't seen the trailer, so therefore he will talk about it when he watches the trailer.
I do know she has a little sister or something.
And she's fucking adorable.
But I don't know what she looks like or anything. I just know that it exists because you can't be on the internet without knowing something.
So without really kind of like, what has been your thoughts about Moana 2? Like, are you a Moana fan? Have you been wanting this sequel? Like, what do you want to happen here?
So I have been a little bit mixed on Moana 2. I wanted the movie to happen for sure. I think Moana 1 is phenomenal. It's still like one of the better ones out there. Can understand why it's still in the top 10 every week when we're talking like things that are doing well for Disney.
It was the #1 streamed movie of 2023.
Exactly. There's a reason. The part that made me nervous, and I want to know if the official trailer gives us any clear ideas or not, about it or not, is the fact they changed a short-form streaming show into a full-length film. And
doesn't feel like a short. It doesn't feel like a short form.
That's the part that makes me a bit nervous and stuff because I have seen others franchise, Despicable Me, where they turn short form things into long form things, and it's horrible.
Secret
God
Life
awful.
of Pets 2.
Despicable Me 3. You name it, they've made it, and it's god awful. Secret Life Pets 2 is a great. That's the only. I talk about this story so many times. It's the only movie I've ever walked out of, and I walked back in to watch the final 10 minutes and didn't think I missed anything. What happens? I maybe watched 30 minutes of that movie as a whole, and I got the entire story without any complaints. No character development missing, no nothing. That's a problem.
It's insane.
It's a problem.
It's insane. But visually, I think this movie's gorgeous. Disney Animation continues to improve animation with every new film. This is their best looking one to date, in my opinion, and that says a lot because Frozen 2 is absolutely gorgeous. That movie is great to look at. But that's Moana 2.
On Frozen.
Now, from Moana 2, we jumped over to live action because Dwayne "Rock" Johnson was on stage at D23 for Moana 2. But not just that. No, he was there for Monster Jam. I really can't talk about this without laughing because I need to say that again. Disney is making a movie just called Monster Jam, and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson stars as one of the drivers. At first, I thought this was a documentary. No, it is a movie about monster trucks. Now, everybody is just putting in speculations that it's a movie about aliens or alien monster trucks or saving the world monster trucks.
Do that.
There was a movie about that already called Monster Trucks, where the monsters were the trucks. It starred the guy from I Am Number 4.
It starred Lucas Till, who is not the guy from I Am Number 4, but that's okay. And then also Jade Levy, which is the reason why I knew that movie existed.
Yeah, so they already did this movie. So I don't know what this is going to be. Jacob, thoughts?
The movie was bad, so maybe they could go somewhere.
But thoughts?
But here's the thing. When I think Dwayne Johnson, I just think of the new Santa movie that he's a part of.
Which also doesn't look great.
What is that one called?
Red One.
Red One, thank you. So when I think of Dwayne Johnson right now, it's kind of tarnished. It's kind of ruined. Any type of hope I had for him as an actor is kind of dead. So yeah, no, I think it's going to be horrible. I think it's actually going to be terrible. But hey, Samara Weaving was in Monster Trucks. Oh my God, honey, I hope your career sees better days.
So from there, they went on to talking about Frozen 3.
Oh, I have a different order than you do.
What's your order?
Once again, I have no idea if my order is correct, so you could be completely right.
Is your next one Snow White?
No, Snow White was last.
Snow White was not last.
The actual trailer came out last. I know that.
The last trailer was Mufasa the Lion King.
It came out the day after.
It was last night. It was that night. It went Snow White, Tron Ares, and then Mufasa.
Okay. I have Avatar as next.
Yes, it was Avatar.
Is what I had, but
Avatar is next. Your thing is correct.
Okay. We just got a title. We're going back to Pandora in 2025. Avatar: Fire and Ash. I think the title's okay.
I think the title is fantastic.
I think it's a bit mixed bag. The logo looks pretty though.
The logo is amazing. It's a really dope logo. James Cameron talked about it. Him, Zoe Saldana, and Sam talked about it. Where when you look at what happens, how the way 2 ends, and you look at the fire and the anger and the rage and the teary after what happens with their son. Spoilers for a $2 billion film. Sorry, not sorry. Talking about that rage and how they feel like losing home, moving away from home, that kind of stuff. And the tribe they talk about, they're going to talk. They're called the Fire Scorchers, and they were exiled from all the other tribes of Pandora about how they feel about the humans being there. That kind of stuff. It sounds awesome.
It's interesting. It sounds like a television show that's got adapted into a live action show that got renewed for 3 seasons. But
they sound like it. Do you know a crazy fact that when Avatar was coming out, Avatar had to fight for the rights of the name Avatar so it could still be used in The Last Airbender? That's why Avatar: The Last Airbender, the movie's not called Avatar: The Last Airbender, because they didn't have the rights to the word Avatar at the time. I said Avatar a lot in that sentence.
The
Sorry.
next goes into a few different Pixar announcements. It does look like we will be getting to Frozen, but we can go in whatever order you want. It does not matter.
Well, my phone died, so we're going to go off of your order.
Okay, that's fine. Hopefully I have everything. If not, hopefully Zachary's brain will remember. I remember.
I remember.
All right, the next thing it seems like they announced is Win or Lose, which is a first
It is
long
Pixar's first long form series, and it looks terrific. This feels like classic Pixar meets Bad News Bears. I'm all here for it.
Comes out December 6th. There is a trailer out there. I will debate if I will watch it or not for your liking. Who knows?
I love Pixar.
I'm okay with Pixar. I did see its $1 billion Pixar, movie this year. So yeah. Speaking of that, let's go into Dream Productions, which, having seen Inside Out 2, I'm not entirely sure if I really understand why this is being made.
It's set between 1 and 2, and it's about the creators of Riley's Dreams.
No, I understand that, but the way that her dreams, I don't like. I mean, it's a $1 billion movie, so I don't want to jump into spoilers. But also, just to mention, the way they described her dreams, how they made her dreams in Inside Out 2, I guess she is in puberty, so maybe it changes. I don't know. Is a bit different from like a whole production, like a movie set, doing like the whole 9 yards. So I want to hear I want to see something from it to be really sold on it. I'm not completely sold on the idea based on the lore and that they have created for this.
I'm honestly shocked Inside Out 3 was not here, because Bob Iger was caught on a conference call talking about how Inside Out 3 is in the works, but I think they don't want to hurt Inside Out 2, and honestly they brought the pain when it came to a threequel being announced. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. Pixar came with their threequel, and it's the biggest news of D23 in my opinion. So they didn't have to announce Inside Out 3. They're fine. But from there went what?
Yeah, Zachary. Okay. Get prepared.
Okay.
Think about what you want to say. And then I'm going to say here, all I'm going to read is the Pixar tweet announcement and what the movie is about. Okay? Then Zachary is going to go off on whatever read he has been prepared. Are you guys prepared? Let's discuss. They announced Toy Story 5. Now, technically, Toy Story 5 has been announced for a while now, but we actually got information and a logo. Essentially,
and its release year, summer 2026.
Yes, which I'll get to. Just get excited. So their next chapter is Woody, Buzz, Jesse, and the gang all return for Toy Story 5, coming to theaters in summer 2026.
Probably June, Jake. Probably June.
One would guess. In the fifth story. Why I gotta do that? It's true, but yeah. I'm assuming around the same weekend Inside Out 2 came out this week.
June 18th, Jacob. June 18th.
Somewhere in there. In the fifth Toy Story movie, all of our favorite toys are back to face off against their most challenging foe yet, technology. Now, before Zachary, which I'm going to allow him to say whatever he wants to say, especially because what's the point of Toy Story 4 if we have Toy Story 5? But we'll get there, even though I think that's a horrible, god-awful movie, probably like one of the worst films I've seen in like decades. So like, and I've only been alive for 2 decades. That says a lot. However,
that's the funniest thing I've heard all day.
However, does this mean we're having a time jump? Are we having a time jump?
No.
Does she have a tablet in the fourth one?
Yep, she's watching her movies and stuff on it.
Okay, sorry. All right, Zachary, please take the floor with your anger, which I know is right there.
It's not anger. Okay, it's really not.
Or disappointment.
It's just why. Toy Story 3 is one of the best films ever made. Not just animated. It's one of the best films ever made. And Toy Story 4 has no right to be as good as it is. Since it has come out, we have had our review. I have talked about it. I have really grown to like this movie because of one thing, and that's Forky. I think Forky really grew on me as time went on. I now love that character. I think he is awesome, and what he stands for now in Toy Story. But when you look at the concept art for Toy Story 5, who is not there? Forky. What is there? Woody. He should not be here. He was left on a fucking Ferris wheel with Bo Peep. You wanted to do this, Disney. You wanted to start moving away from him. And your answer and your call to that action was to make 50 stuck in play mode Buzz Lightyears as your villain? We've done this 4 times. We get it. You love him in this mode. We get it. Tim Allen likes playing this version of Buzz. Lightyear didn't do well. No one cares about Buzz. Just being honest.
No thoughts and opinions on that side of the camp.
Also, the majority of our cast is gone. Not everybody can still play their roles. It was very sad looking at Mr. Potato Head and Pork and the Pig, because they were just standing there and not talking. There's a reason why I was just focused on Woody, Buzz, and Jesse and Four. The majority of our cast is gone. Like, how do you do this movie? It doesn't make sense. Money-wise, it's going to make $1 billion, but it doesn't make sense. It's so frustrating. I love Toy Story.
We can see where Zachary's at. I'm going to. This is my stance on it. Is, you know what? That's where I stand. Moving on. We have hoppers. Zachary, did you?
This looks awesome.
I'm really disturbed by this little thing.
So this movie is about this little girl who gets her brain transplanted into a robot beaver to figure out what's going on with the day. And John Hamm plays the villain, the mayor of this town. And the animation looks awesome. This is the wackiest film Pixar's ever made. And they made a movie about souls.
That's true. But Souls, I feel like this has a much more like fun feel to it, whereas Souls was a lot more heavier.
But they've never transferred a brain into a robot beaver.
A bait, like a little girl, too. Like, I don't know. A little choiceable, but okay. And then they brought Elio. Elio obviously being the next Pixar movie that will be coming out. The big announcement here is that Zoe Saldana joined the cast. That's kind of weird. This movie's been done for a while, so curious to see why it's just getting announced. Nah, but hey, each of them.
I can actually explain how that worked. Luca, the movie that came out forever ago, the majority of that cast was recasted after the film was made, and they redid they completely redid lines for the movie and then put it out.
Poor Elio. Damn.
And so Zoe Saldana is coming in to replace an actor that was removed from the movie, and she'll be playing that character.
Understood. No complaint here. Any Zoe Saldana, I'll be there. So to be
fair, it's a weird concept, but apparently it works.
That one has many of a trailer that's about a boy who
it looks awesome.
Says yes to being a space person.
It looks like a lot of fun. The conversation between him and the aliens is really funny.
So I don't know how well it will do. Pixar's franchise projects don't typically do as well. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like in the 3s or the 400 million range when it gets all said and done.
I think those are Pixar's strongest movies at the moment. I mean, when you look at movies like Coco.
Oh, I definitely do agree. It's just they just don't end up finding
which was really sad because, again, I love Coco. It's one of the best Pixar movies.
However, speaking of Pixar, because Pixar really came to play, we had the biggest announcement of D23. And that is Incredibles 3 is officially in the works with Brad Bird coming back to direct and write. As someone who has not seen the last 50 minutes of Incredibles 2, due to, I think, having a seizure while watching it for the first time in theaters and never visiting it again.
What?
Oh, I thought you knew this story. I guess he doesn't know the story.
seen the ending of Incredibles 2?
I know what happens. I have the gist.
That was it was 2018. What
No,
are
I
you
know.
talking about?
So I saw it. We saw it in theaters. Okay, I was so super excited or whatever, and I had a slight headache going into it. And because of how the sound design is and how the lighting is done in the movie, and because of the villain, we all know what the villain is, my head hurt so bad that I blacked out. I physically blacked out. There's a period of time where the movie ends and then the movie begins, and I blacked out. And I came home and I woke up the next day thinking, did we watch Incredibles 2 the other day? Because we did, and I blacked out. So no, I don't know.
Isn't that movie what started giving the warnings for things in films before they go and see it?
Yeah, which I don't really think it was the movie's fault. I think I just really was having like a bad headache day that day. But
that's insane.
Either way, it makes me nervous, so I haven't gone back. In all fairness, because it was severely horrible. So I'd never have seen the last. It's like the last 30 to 40 minutes of the movie. They get near a plane. I don't really know, something along those lines.
Oh crap!
I know who the villain is, and I know the reveals and stuff like that because I've seen clips. But I was there when it happened. I just couldn't tell you.
You should really go back and finish it. It's a good movie.
I believe it. I've been told.
This is the craziest reveal of D23. No one was expecting Incredibles. Like, Brad Bird takes forever to make these movies.
Yeah, which is why I think they said in works, because it could still be another 10 years. They're just letting people know, hey, it's coming.
Well, I took it more as that we're closer than we think, because they said coming soon to theaters, not like currently being made, like coming soon to theaters. Like, I'm thinking maybe 2026.
We have a lot
not 26, 27. You let Disney's animated film be Frozen 3, and Pixar hold the summer with Incredibles 3, and Frozen 3 end the year in the fall.
Zach's getting ahead of himself, so hold on. Let's get there, okay? Next, we have Zootopia 2. Once again, Zootopia 2 has been announced for a while.
I really think we would have seen more.
It is coming to theaters in November of next year, which is very exciting. Ki Hai Kwan has joined the cast as playing an animal, a snake named Gary, which that sounds pretty much exactly like I would picture it. Wow, damn, they did a good job. Okay, wow, that's crazy. And
the snake looks awesome.
That's insane. I really wasn't expecting that. That's crazy. Okay.
So yeah, we'll have Zootopia at the beginning. We'll have Elio at the beginning of the year next year, and then Zootopia will end the year for Disney Animation that year. And so that's why I think the other thing is the way they're going to go.
Moving on, one of the last things that's talked about in this big section is it looks like we're moving down to Star Wars in this list. So we'll see if that's the case or not. I'll ask my human computer in a minute. We have Frozen 3. Frozen 3 did come with an image, but it was just some
gorgeous.
It's very pretty.
Gorgeous.
Just them walking
gorgeous
together.
Image.
Nothing super big there. But it did get announced for its release date, which is 2027. And obviously, the moral story here is Elsa is not a lesbian. I don't want it.
Also, another kind of big announcement with Frozen 3. Frozen 4 was announced as well.
Oh, it's a two-parter, right? They announced that it was going to be a two-parter.
No, they just announced Frozen. No, they just announced Frozen 4.
Oh. Please don't be a two-parter. I'm just going to be honest with you. It's like the multiverse. I'm done.
The concept art of the reveal looks so much like Sleeping Beauty. It's so if you haven't seen it yet, go and look for it. It's gorgeous. It's just of the two sisters on horses with a villainous shadow behind them. It looks incredible.
All right, moving my way down the list, just trying to see if we missed any other smaller stories. Don't know if they go into either category, so I'm not going to jump around here. Just overall, Percy Jackson and the Olympians Season 2 did get a little bit of a teaser with the announcement that they are doing Sea of Monsters, which makes sense. It should come out next year. We'll be watching. Do you want to check it out? You can watch it with me over on my BookTube channel. Yeah, sorry, I do commentaries other places. Don't judge me. Then we have Freakier Friday, which also was announced. There was a few images that got released from that as well. And huge casting announcements. Chad Michael Murray's coming back. The band's coming back. A whole bunch of other stuff. But the biggest thing is it's no longer a Disney Plus original, which a lot of people thought it was going to be. It will be popping
up. A lot of that happened over D23. Another movie was announced for the summer that was supposed to be a Disney Plus original that's now being a theatrical release.
We'll see if it pops up. Have we talked about it?
A big one, actually.
Okay, hold on. I'm still scrolling. There's a lot of lists to go. That comes out for 2025. Coming in the theaters.
So
next year.
before we go any further, can we talk about the other two for a second? Are you excited for either project?
Oh, right. Percy Jackson, obviously, yeah, I thought the first season was really good. Curious what they're going to do about Zeus because obviously he has sadly passed away. But other than that, I think we're in good hands. No complaints. Freakier Friday, I don't like Jamie Lee Curtis. I'm just going to be honest with you. So that makes me a bit nervous. But overall, I will be there.
I feel like you're the only person I ever heard that does not like Jamie Lee Curtis.
I don't know what she did. I don't know. It has to be a suppressed memory somewhere in my brain. I've not liked her in a very long time. Is it Halloween? Did Halloween really ruin my relationship?
No, I think you were upset that she won the Oscar.
Oh, definitely was upset, but that wouldn't make me just like turn on a person.
I know you're pretty adamant about it.
Oh, it's horrible, god awful. She definitely should not have won. Did you see her? I'm sorry, I can't. I'm not doing this again. It was not good. It was not a good time for the internet.
There you go. There's why.
But also, Halloween Ends. I thought she was god awful in that. Like acting wise, and also Halloween Kills, god awful.
But she's great in the first.
Yeah, Halloween. Yeah, she came back. She came to play. Great job. Anything past that point, why were you made? You know, seriously, generally, why were you made? I didn't mind her. Speaking of Jamie Lee Curtis, I did just go see Borderlands, and I didn't mind her in Borderlands. I thought she had an interesting approach to her character.
The one I am most curious of the two of them is Lindsay. Like, this is her first real big movie in theaters.
Yeah.
And I am curious if the public is ready for that kind of return for her. I know she's been doing smaller things on like Hallmark and Netflix and stuff, but this is like the first time putting herself back out in public. And so I'm really curious to see how that's going to go. I know she's been doing better. She's obviously doing a lot better. But I think this is also a good movie to come back to because I know her and Jamie are really close in real life.
That's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, we do have to talk about the alien in the room.
Yeah.
You know what? My brain blocked it. My brain was like, we're not going to talk about that. So let's talk about the alien in the room. Hold on.
You're not happy?
Let's talk about the alien. Let me get an actual image. I think that's
if you're about to say it's because of the coloration of this dude's fur, I'm gonna throw you because it doesn't look that. It would make sense he'd be a little bit more of a lighter shade.
We have some choiceful options going on in the comments. In the comments, I mean Zachary's brain. So next we'll talk about is Lilo and Stitch. It did not get a direct release date that I'm pretty sure. No, just summer. Was originally going to be released on Disney Plus. Is now going to be released in theaters. That's a choiceable situation, in my opinion.
I think it was testing really well with Disney, and that they were really happy with how it was going. That it can be in live action. Plus, Jacob, besides Moana, do you know these movies not going to make money? This movie's going to make a shit ton of money. Stitch is one of the most popular characters in Disney.
So I have some thoughts. You know how we all as a group decided that bullying is actually not that bad? You know, we all decided that when something looks god-awful...
You can't bring up Sonic. This is not even remotely close to Sonic.
Let's talk about Sonic the Hedgehog for a minute. I think we need to do the Sonic the Hedgehog treatment.
You're wrong.
This looks kind of cute. Still looks like it's going to eat me, which I guess is what Stitch is supposed to do. But Stitch has always been a cuddly bear, in my opinion, and this screams not cuddly bear. Hold on. My biggest thing. If I saw this at a pet store, I would not be stopping to pick it up. That's my opinion. Okay, but hold on. This one kind of cute. The paws are kind of cute. Look at that. It looks awesome. You know what? The more I look at it, the cuter it gets. However, I did bring 2 screenshots to play. Okay, I ain't one. That's terrifying.
It looks fine.
I don't like it. I don't like his face. I also absolutely hate the coloring. I don't care what Zachary says. It makes a damn difference. He should be darker. I don't like it. I hate it so much. This is not my Lilo and Stitch.
It's just Stitch.
I'm sorry. I mean, there are definitely worse options out there. That's all I got.
Yeah, click on that one. Look at this, people. Jacob wants that.
I do not.
What's the puppet version?
I just think there's better options.
Jacob, It's the best we could look at the picture currently on screen. And then click on that one. He looks so, look at that. That's a guy in a suit.
That does look like a guy.
That doesn't look like Stitch at all. That looks like Stitch.
I just don't know if I see this when I see this.
I do.
I don't know if I don't know if I could say I see the difference. I think okay. This is how I feel. This is the Tinder picture. Okay, you're like, ooh, he's gonna be cute. It's gonna be a good time. And then this is what we get when he shows up. Not exactly right, not exactly wrong, but also like kind of like I think I'm gonna ghost you after this date.
Do you really think Disney's not Paramount? Paramount just sold themselves. Disney's not in that vein.
You know what? My thing here is still pretty far out. Just change the color. I think if this was a darker blue, I think I'd be impressed.
This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. He looks fine.
Also, no, he needs to be a darker blue. I'm going to be honest with you. He needs to be a darker blue because my first reaction when I saw this thing pop out of the screen, because I was watching Twitter, I was scrolling and I was like, that's fake. And then I stayed and then he like came at me like I was like trying to get murdered or something. I thought to myself, oh my God, this rabbit dog is going to murder me.
This movie's going to make so much money.
Well, they announced Lilo and Stitch is coming out for next year. That's the moral of this story. We both had
that was Jacob's Toy Story 5.
It was. Not my Stitch.
I was not expecting that to be your Toy Story 5.
Well, it was.
I really thought one of the last things they showed would have been your Toy Story 5. Think about, a girl who sings with 7 little people around her and
okay. So, let's talk about the dwarf in the room. Or the
I have no skin in this game. I have no skin in this game.
So I am holding my judgment until I see the image moving.
Jacob, I'm not...
I personally have only seen the image still, framed. I am okay to be shocked, okay to be okay with it. We did get a teaser trailer for Snow White. It comes out March 21st. That's way sooner than I thought it was going to be. God damn it, I did not know that. Jesus Christ. Okay, Disney. Don't think it's going to do that well. Doesn't scream $1 billion picture.
They put it in Beauty and the Beast territory. Because Beauty and the Beast was March of 2017. They feel like Snow White can be on that level.
Okay. So some thoughts here. Love Rachel Zegler. Think she's going to do phenomenal. Gal Gadot, I think, has truly ruined her entire career. So I'm really sad you can't recast right before releasing something. Could be, in my opinion.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, we haven't really seen what the ramifications are with the political world that we live in. And I personally don't want to bring a lot of that into this conversation, as a lot of people on the internet have already decided they're going to go see it, even if she's in it or not, because she obviously is in it, and she's probably going to die, which is probably going to enlighten many people. But she is obviously for Israel and saying that Palestine is the one causing all the problems in the war. She worked, she's part of the Israel government. She was in, the army over there for quite a few years before she became a model, before she became an actor. And stuff, and so there's like a lot of controversy and stuff around it. That was obviously way before. It's always been a part of her, but way before she was actually casted in this. But Rachel Zegler must feel pretty nice, thinking, "Oh God, at least I'm not the problem in this production."
Because she was originally, and then Gal Gadot was like, "Da da da da."
Hold my beer, I'll be right there.
I didn't think she'd take the role of the evil queen so seriously, but hey,
yeah, she really did. Also, I have personally not seen what the dwarves look like. I've heard horror stories.
Man, I really wish we should do reactions live right now, because I'd love to just sit here and watch you begrudgingly watch this trailer, because it would be a moment for the show.
I kind of just wanted to look. Can I Google one of them?
Go for it, Jake.
Okay. Let me quickly...
This stuff be live.
Let me get one of the names. Let's do Doopy. Doopy Dwarf live action.
His name's not Doopy. His name's not Doopy. It's
Oh.
Dopey.
Oh,
That was so mean. Thoughts?
Zachary, I have a question.
Thoughts?
Was the image, the image that we all thought was just like, oh, this is what they're gonna do better when the movie actually comes. Is that what they really look like?
That first image you shared with me forever ago of her sitting down with all the dwarves around her.
No, you're joking.
No, that's it.
No, you're actually like you're fucking with me right now.
No.
You're like this. Hold on. Let me present you an image.
Yeah.
I just need a clear answer. Just a. Is that seriously what they look like?
Jacob, that is Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
No. No. Oh, honey. Oh, you deserve so much more. Oh, they treated you so badly. At least you're not going to be the worst thing in this movie.
That is verbatim exactly what the movie looks like.
Okay, but hold on. When they move, because obviously you've seen them move, is it more like a storybook quality to them? No. I was kind of hoping.
Do you remember Stuart Little? And how that and how it looked like how the mouse moved, kind of like not so with the frames per second, but kind of like a little bit behind the frames per second.
We'll definitely be reacting to that trailer later on tonight. We'll expect it earlier than not, guys. Oh my god. Okay. Wow. Can't understand why the image they used was her sitting in a forest with beautiful animals around her, because that's what's gonna sell me. In all truthfulness, that's the selling. Oh shit.
Also, Jacob, what's been removed from the title? What's originally called Disney's Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs? What's it called now? Disney's Snow White.
Well, that's not necessarily a problem, in my opinion.
Maybe
their roles got really reduced.
But they're integral.
Because they're dwarves.
They come in to sing hi-ho and then they leave. They're the robot of this movie.
Oh my god, they don't even sing hi-ho. It's like what they did with Mufasa.
Jesus Christ, do not do a freaking
hi.
It fucking
it's a spoken word poetry all over again.
If you've never seen the 2019 version of Lion King, be prepared is what I can only describe as a slam poetry session with Scar and the hyenas. Could you imagine? You hear slam poetry of these dwarves coming out of the mines going, hi, ho, off work we go, hi, ho.
Okay, we're going to move on because that definitely is going to get copyrighted. So we have Tron Ares next, ending out. That is going to get released on October 10th of 2025. Definitely think this is going to do horrible. Have no doubt in my mind about it. Sorry, Tron, you just don't sell. We have Jared Leto here with Greta Lee, who I do enjoy. Jared Leto do not enjoy.
9 Inch Nails is doing the
getting there in a second. Evan Peters is also there. Jared Bridge looks like he's coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Why? No one wanted him, but hey, he's here. We also have revolves around a program named Ares, who I'm assuming is Jared Leto.
Leto is the villain.
Oh. Okay. That travels from the digital world to the real world, which never works out. Anybody who comes up with this concept, haven't you seen a movie?
Disney's done the majority of them.
It never goes well. Truly never. Name one. I'm waiting. Oh, wait, you can't.
Free Guy.
Zachary?
Free Guy set in a video game.
Okay, but this is about a character in this world, Tron, coming to the real world as that character. Not people who work on said video game still living in the video game world and in real life. You understand the difference? Ryan Reynolds never took a step out of Free Guy. He was always in that world. He was always free.
That was a guy.
Well, debatable. He had no parts. He also 9 Inch Nails, which is a very interesting people to
I
propose.
love it.
And then lastly, and we have Mufasa. Yeah, whatever. Okay. That's all I have. That's all she wrote. What am I missing?
They're doing a David Blaine thing for National Geographic. They did a whole
Oh,
magic trick.
National Geographic. Boo-hoo. Go science.
Trying to think here.
Mufasa.
No, Mufasa ended the show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I will not be reacting to the trailer for Mufasa, as I will not be watching the movie, so I'm not going to even be spending 2 minutes and 46 seconds of my time watching anything from it.
I will give them this much. I think it had the best opening presentation, I think, of everybody who came to the play, because they had a full choir sing The Circle of Life before the title came on the screen, and it was glorious.
What was that great?
Never gets old.
As someone who did see The Lion King in theaters and watch Poop tell the story of passing of time, yeah, we'll still ever get that scarred in my brain. We'll never get, nope, you fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, oh, that's my problem. Not there again. Sorry. Are you seeing Mufasa?
No. And it's not because of my original complaint with Lion King, because Lion King is one of the worst fake animated movies of all time. It's not animated. I mean, it's one of the worst fake live action movies of all time. It's not live action. It's animated. Get over yourselves. It is the stilted face work of the lions and the Pumbas and the Timons. It looks a lot better in Mufasa the Lion King. They actually look like they're emoting and smiling and crying and angry and yay. But it's not necessary. But here's the thing. I love Barry Jenkins as a director, and he absolutely loves this franchise and loves being a part of it. And so I feel like the movie will actually be pretty good, and it's going to have a killer soundtrack because Lin-Manuel Miranda touched it. I'm just saying. The songs are going to be good. The songs are going to be good.
All right. Well, that was D23 as a whole. Zachary, if you want to talk about what you have been watching, I actually have to go. I have to leave because it's 10:42 and I got to get on the road. So if you want to close out, you totally can, or we can close out now. It is completely up.
We'll close out now because it doesn't feel right.
I mean, it doesn't matter to me. I'm okay with it.
We'll close.
Okay, that's fine. Zachary, right before we get off here, your overall thoughts on D23? Were you impressed, disappointed? How did you feel overall?
The fact that Disney overdid themselves from Comic-Con is kind of insane. Disney came to fucking play, and everybody else should be shitting in their boots because Disney is coming for that money hard. That's all I'll say. Good on Iger. Iger is that place's bread and butter. When he leaves again, I'm so curious to see what happens to Disney.
Disney got a whiff of money. $2 billion picture movie. Like, woo,
as Deadpool says to Wolverine, Disney will say to Iger, "Till you're 90."
Or he'll say, "Until they make an animatronic out of you and put you in a amusement park, and then you're there forever," as they're doing with Walt Disney himself. Still not entirely sure how I feel about it. It's weird. In all fairness.
But no, I thought it was terrific. Everybody came to play. It was all really, really good stuff. No real complaints, except apparently for blue hair. But Jacob, what do you think of D23?
Well, outside of the alien in the room, I thought like it was pretty, and also the dwarf in the room. I feel like it's pretty good. I feel like
they didn't talk about it, but they also have another successful film coming out this coming weekend with Alien, and so Disney's just trolling.
Yeah, very excited for Alien. But overall, I was pretty impressed with it. I think they did come to play. I do think they should have released Daredevil as the trailer. Probably kept everything else a secret. No big problems with me there. But I think Daredevil should have probably came out if they would have brought it, because they did so much pre-promotion for it beforehand, not to deliver with the general audience. And because it's trending like Suicide Squad did when that trailer leaked, you basically just gotta commit, is how I feel in the situation. That being said, Zachary, do you have an outro for us?
Like, rate, subscribe. We'll see you guys in commentaries. Will we see you guys in the podcast? Depends on the topic. But until then, we'll see you then. Bye-bye, y'all.